Hey, what's up, everyone? It is Average Bloomer Isaac here. I got my buddy Rowan.
Hi there, everybody. I'm Rowan, aka Romo, doing a little Pokemon Pocket Set review.
Yeah, the new set was leaked early, which is amazing, and so we can actually go and take a little bit of time and think about it instead of just playing. I guess it was really fun day one, just like kind of not knowing, but it was not fun having to wait until after the set released in order to do the video. In order to go over the set. So this time we can do it proper, which is sick. Um, we're gonna do it a
Yes,
little
sir.
different. We're not gonna go over every single card. We're just gonna basically try and hit the hits, speed run this bitch a little bit. Um, yeah, the first hit is Beedrill. This card is pretty cool. 2 energy, 80 damage. Discard a random energy from the active. It's guaranteed. You don't have to flip a coin or anything, which is really sick. 170 HP is not bad. Obviously, we've seen higher. A single retreat cost is pretty good. The downside is that this is a stage two. I do think it's cool though that this is able to play with the stage two one prize pointer B drill from Genetic Apex. That does 70 damage for a single energy. I always thought that card was actually pretty decent. And so this can kind of play together with that. I don't know if that's going to make it anything relevant, but I do feel as though this is at least a decent card. What do you think there, Rowan?
I agree. I think that the biggest thing holding it back is it being stage two. But again, the guarantee energy discard is pretty nice. Two energies for 80 damage is also pretty nice value wise.
Hmm.
I it would I think it could be part of the set theme where everything is just trying to be a little bit more stally, discard energy, stall out kind of turns thing. Kind of fits the theme of the set a little bit.
Yeah. We before going and doing this video, we talked a little bit about this set and went over it some ourselves, and we kind of came to the conclusion that this isn't like power creeping really anything. This is kind of more of a supplementary set, kind of just adding a little bit new tech options and a lot more sort of stall feeling options as we might see as we'll definitely see as we go along.
Yep,
The other thing with
100%.
Beedrill, before we move on from it, is that the Kakuna is interesting, and this is also part of the stall elements that we were kind of talking about. Single energy, 20 damage, kind of whatever, but flip a coin. If heads, you're paralyzing the active Pokemon. And anyone who has any experience with paralysis in this game or with the TCG, this is easily the strongest condition that you could inflict on your opponent. It's
Yes,
really, really
indeed.
good. So, moving on though, we have Meowscarada. Meowscarada is interesting. It's a one prize pointer, which is cool. 140 HP for a stage two is kind of whatever, but we put a giant code on this. It's 160. Not the worst. Two energy. So again, really cheap, efficient cost energy. We like seeing that, just like with the B drill. 60 damage, but if it is an EX that it's attacking, then it's doing 70 more damage. So
Yep.
130 damage, that's pretty relevant. We add a Giovanni onto this, and you're doing 140 damage, which is the break point for one hitting Arceus and things of the like. And then there is a new supporter that we'll be going over in a little bit that can jump this up even further to be able to one shot things like Dialga, Palkia, other stuff.
Yep. 100% agreed. I think again, what holds it back is stage two. I think that grass does have quite a few good attackers already. So, Meowscarada being part of the meta is going to be a hard one, but I could see this being a fun little rogue deck that people throw in there to take out, honestly, other Celebi decks if that is still a prominent thing in the meta.
Hmm.
But
Hmm.
overall, pretty decent attackers against any EX deck.
Yep, I agree with that. I think that the thing that makes it a little bit more viable, as we'll see here now, is actually its basics, Sprigatito. The fact that this for a single grass energy just puts a random grass Pokemon into from your deck into your hand is very neat. This can go and just grab the Florigato. Yeah, that's what it is. Florigato, Domemi Roboto.
Yep.
It can grab the Meowscarada. It would be unfortunate, obviously, if it just grabs another Sprigatito, but hey, them's the beans, right?
Yeah, that's just how it goes with RNG, baby.
We gotta
But
love
yeah,
it.
no, it definitely helps thin out the deck looking for a grass type Pokemon. It's probably the best basic setup for any of the stage twos we've seen so far in the
Hmm.
Pokemon Pocket metas or sets. So
Yeah, I would definitely agree with that one. This is one of the stronger basic setups that we have seen. Period. Um, Moving on into our fire Pokemon, we have the Wonder Boy, everyone's favorite, the Star Child, Charizard. Jokes aside, this card seems pretty decent. Three retreat cots, kind of whatever, 180 HP, about what we would expect here for a stage 2 EX, especially Charizard. Um, the first attack, Stoke, putting three at fire energy from the energy zone and just attaching it onto him. That's pretty powerful. It immediately charges up his next attack, which is a total of 5 energy, which isn't a big deal here, as we just said. 150 damage, no downside. You can do this every single turn. I don't know if this is going to become the new big hitter, but I could see this being the new Charizard that's being played for all those like Charizard Moltres decks that we do see still in the meta. Just the fact that there's no downside, 200 damage is cool, but 150 every single turn. You're one-shotting most stuff, you're two-shotting everything. And then we combine this with Giovanni or that supporter that we're going to be coming up, and this is hitting some pretty good numbers. I think that this is a decent card. What do you think, Rowan?
yeah, this card definitely has potential. The fact that it does 150 with it can do it every single turn is actually huge. It also does benefit from the Moltres. I definitely think this is the better of the Charizards, just because guaranteed 150 every single turn is really hard to pass up. I
Hmm.
mean, this you're basically attacking twice and the game's over.
Hmm.
Especially if you have a Red or a Giovanni in there. So
Hmm.
I think I think the this Charizard is pretty good.
Yeah. And then with what you were saying too, with it being like the better partner with Moltres, you could literally flip all tails with Moltres and this thing doesn't care. It's still just going to charge itself up.
Yeah, 100%.
Um so that's the Wonder Boy. Shock shock, he's playable. Who would have guessed?
Yeah, exactly.
Moving on, we're gonna just go on ahead into the waters, and we're gonna go to Wug Trio EX. This card is ultimately, I think, very funny. I don't know how great it's going to end up being in the long run. I feel like this is going to suffer from what I like to call Dragonite syndrome. The fact that it's just it's random the damage it's doing. It's a total of 150 damage for 3 energy that it's able to do, but just the random damage is just its downfall ultimately. Your opponent could have something that only has 10 HP, and this could very well just hit it 3 times.
Yeah, it's exactly it. It's too random for the amount of cost that it takes to getting this out there. Stage one, not a basic, takes a little bit more resources. Three water energy, which isn't crazy. You have Misty and Manaphy, but again, it's random. It's a two prize attacker. You get that
Mhm.
out there. You hit the wrong target, they bring out their big guy and kill you. I mean, it's what do you do?
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. This we could be misevaluating this, granted, but I'm just a little concerned personally about the fact that you have no control over the damage that, or at least the Pokemon that you are damaging with this. I feel like that could very well just become its greatest downfall. Dragonite
Yep.
clearly has other downsides with it being a stage 2 and then also needing electric and water, but I still I don't know about it.
Yep. 100%.
Um, Moving on, we're gonna go to the electrics, and we have Pikachu EX here. Basic 120 HP, pretty fat. We do like to see that. We've seen fatter, obviously, but I mean it's Pika, it's our boy. Can't be having him be too fat. Um,
Yep.
150 damage, 3 lightning. It's a little bit slow, but I mean, it's good damage. The big issue is just you have to discard all of the energy, and so you have no way of being able to like reliably charge this up over and over. Um, that's the big downfall.
Yeah, no, the 150 is nice, and I don't think there's any electric Pokemon that hits as hard as this Pikachu does. Yeah, downfall. You've got to
Mhm.
discard all of it. Now we did get the Pachirisu that we'll look at here in a second that lets you accelerate energy, but enough to make the Pikachu EX worth it. It's I don't know.
It's
It
questionable.
seems a little hard.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree. And yeah, as we're going to see here though, the Pachirisu is a very interesting card, and if the Pikachu is playable, it very well could be due to this card being as good as it happens to be.
Yeah,
10
100%.
damage, absolutely. 10 damage, a single energy, and then it accelerates a electric energy from your energy zone onto one of your benched electric Pokemon. This is this is energy acceleration. This is phenomenal. I mean, energy acceleration in almost every single form is good realistically. I don't know
Yeah,
what to say
this.
other than that.
Yeah, I mean this Pachirisu unlocks could foresee quite a few different combos with electric Pokemon in the future and what we currently have, because I'm pretty sure this is the only electric acceleration that we currently have in Pokemon Pocket.
Well,
So
there's the other
people might be,
Magneton, but Magneton only accelerates onto himself, so he's
yeah,
selfish.
yeah. I mean, technically it is, but this is the first one that allows a lot of possibilities. So we'll see what
Yes.
people can come up with.
Yes. This card is exciting to try and like brew around a little bit. Might have to reevaluate some other past electric Pokemon with this being introduced now.
Yep.
Um, moving on though, we're gonna be skipping right on into the psychic Pokemon with the big I guess devil, Satan, whatever he's supposed to represent with the whole Pokemon legendary
Something.
exact something, yeah. Like
The void.
Arceus is God and this is I guess Satan or some shit.
Satan. Yeah.
But for the devil, he's pretty good, I think. 150 HP basic, so this is a fat boy, which we love to see.
Yep.
Two retreat costs, so you can leaf it out. Not too bad. The thing that makes this exciting is, as you would expect, its ability. Once during your turn, you can take a psychic energy from your energy zone and attach it to this Pokemon. But if you do, the turn ends. There is a lot of decks and a lot of things that we want to try and experiment with that don't really care early on if you're just passing the turn. Think
Yep.
of like Druddigon with Gyarados. Early on, they're just hoping to lead off with the Druddigon, attach an energy, maybe flip some heads if they can with the Misty on their Magikarp, and then just pass. This is kind of the same thing where you're just kind of wanting to like attach an energy, maybe do something, and then you just use this ability and attach and pass. This is also cool because this with Dawn and colorless attackers is a possible energy accelerant for more flexible attackers, things like Arceus, maybe even.
Yeah, this has really interesting potential, especially with stall decks. As a psychic attacker goes, obviously we have things like Mewtwo and Togekiss.
Hmm, hmm.
Pretty good attackers out there already, but this Giratina has some pretty cool, strange, unique potential that I don't think we have seen in Pokemon Pocket so far.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm really curious to see what people cook up with this guy.
Yeah. And I mean, 130 damage, 4 energy, seems a little slow, but it's accelerating itself. And
Yep.
130 is not something to just scoff at. That's pretty good. We
Yep.
like we said with the Meowscarada and with other things in the past, Giovanni or with a supporter we're going to be seeing, just jump up that damage, be able to one hit things, and it's definitely two shotting just about everything.
Yeah, exactly. Two shotting everything. Red allows it to one shot a lot of things. So I think it has a lot of potential.
Yeah. And I think the last thing to note on is that the fact that this is making the psychic energy itself, you can play this in a deck that doesn't play psychic energy normally. You could
That
play
is
this
true.
in something that plays like water energy or something like that. Imagine being able to like Irida this thing with its 150 bulk.
Yeah, that's yeah, exactly. Yeah, the potential is kind of unlimited with this. I'm curious to see what we get.
Yeah, this is an exciting one. I think this is one of the better cards in the set, just period. Um, moving on, we're going to be going into the fighting with, you probably guessed it, Lucario. Fun fact: this is one of my favorite Pokemon. I think this guy is super cool. Um, but past that, two retreat cost, not too bad. Stage one, so not too awful to be able to get out. Can be pretty consistent. 150 HP. It's pretty reasonable for a stage one EX, as we've seen with a lot of things. It's attack 3 energy, 100 damage, and then a 30 snipe. This is a pretty solid attack. I think the biggest upside with this is that you can play this alongside the Lucario from what was it? The Dialga set, right?
Yeah, the Dialga Palkia set.
Yeah, from the Dialga set. You can play two of that one and then one of this as like an attacker, and then you have one and one out. This does 120 damage, 30 snipe. This seems pretty solid. I feel like this is going to be a very good like one of, or yeah, like a one of in those fighting decks.
Yeah, it's a cool one of tech for sure. I mean, besides that, not much to say about it. It has potential. We'll see. We'll see if people end up adding it to the Lucario fighting decks. I think that there's already a sniper with Hitmonlee, so setting up Pokemon early on and then having another attacker that hits decently big and can finish off what was set up. That's pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, no, and with the 30 snipe, this can also set up us being able to Cyrus things up. This seems like a solid card. I feel like this is
No,
a cool
100%.
addition. Um, moving on, we're going to be going on to Paldean. Sorry, to get the moniker right. My bad, everyone. The Paldean Clodsire EX. This is a bit of a chunky fat boy, stage 160 HP, not boy, 3 retreat, so kind of
Yep.
hard to get out from the active spot, but not impossible. Leaf and an energy, that's not impossible. The exciting thing with this though is 60 damage for 2 energy, and then if they're poisoned, it's 120 damage total. This, as we're gonna see with, I think we just had to kind of go over it right now. Grafai, this has the ability where, as a stage one, you can just during your turn flip a coin, and if you get a heads, then the active Pokemon is now poisoned, and this works on the bench. So there is a possibility where this is a deck. This is literally just like a built-in set deck. Grafai, Clodsire, try and like poison, hit for 120 in between turns, 10 damage, it's 130. That's pretty good. It goes back to you, it's 140. That's one-shotting on Arceuses, on a bunch of things. I don't know. I don't know if it's going to be good necessarily, but it's definitely worth the highlight. What's your take, Rowan?
I 100% agree with everything you've said. I also am pretty sure that there's some Pokemon that benefit from poison that are currently out um, in prior sets. So I think that they could also benefit from Grafai, or we'll
Mhm.
have to see exactly where it ends up going with it. The only problem, obviously, is the coin flip, right? So if you're getting unlucky, you're hitting a bunch of tails, your poison
Mhm.
isn't going off, you could just straight lose the game off of that alone.
Mhm.
But there's a lot of stall Pokemon that have been printed this set. So technically, if you're getting unlucky with one coin flip, you might be getting lucky with another one.
Yes.
Looking
Yes.
at Spiritomb with the Confuse Ray, looking at the Gimme Ghoul, I believe, that has the coin flips, and the other smaller Pokemon with Paralyze.
Yep. The gimmick will
Yeah,
here.
I could see a stall deck. A Team Grunt we haven't gone over yet.
Yup. Yup.
100% you could see some fun annoying stall decks with this Poison Griffi Eye deck.
Yes. Absolutely. And I think the other thing that does a point in Clodsire's favor as well is the fact that the Wooper, its attack is a guaranteed poison. So if you do start with the Wooper, you attack, they don't retreat, then you can just evolve,
Hmm.
attach an energy, and immediately just start walloping on the opponent.
Yep, 120 is pretty good.
Yep. Moving on from that, we have Spiritomb here. Uh, this might seem a weird one to be going over, but we actually think that this card is pretty solid. 80 HP, single retreat for a basic, pretty good stats. We've historically seen this is very, very competitively playable. A single energy, 20 damage, and then coin flip, and if heads, they're confused. Now, so far, we haven't seen status conditions become very relevant in the competitive scene, generally speaking. It doesn't help that Arceus just can't be affected by them at all. However,
Yeah.
if we see any sort of a shift in this metagame where this becomes more relevant, or there's like a downtick in the amount of Arceus decks that are played, then I could very easily see this being a very solid lead for dark decks to try and leverage. Be able to stall a little bit of time, get some extra damage, set up their bench and stuff like that. I think that this is a very solid basic. What's your take, Rowan?
Again, it's one of those stallers. Any deck that needs something to buy it a few more turns. This is probably a pretty decent card for it. The 80 HP on a basic, one prize, not terrible. Also, it possibly doing damage to your opponent as well as like a fun after effect with the confusion. That's
Mm-hmm.
pretty good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No.
It could
Like
hit for
there's
more than 20. It could be hitting for 40.
exactly. This could be doing more damage, and then just like also effectively time walking your opponent, just making them like pass a turn in sense.
Yep.
Um, moving on, we are now into the metal Pokemon. We got a Tinkaton EX here. It's a stage 2, 170 HP, not too bad. 2 retreat cost. We love seeing being able to leaf it out. 3 energy, 2 metal, and a colorless. It does 80 damage, but you flip a coin, and if heads, you do 80 more damage. So coin flip, 160 damage. Now, normally we wouldn't be looking at this card too much, but anyone who had watched our last video and saw us go over Origin Form Palkia and then saw tournament results would know that we might have missed the mark a little bit on that. We maybe need to be a bit more fair to coin flip cards. That said, this is still a stage 2. This is going to be a bit inconsistent to be able to get out. 3 energy isn't an impossible cost, obviously. But being a bit coin flippy in nature and then also inconsistent with it being a stage 2, I'm not 100% positive on how relevant this is going to be, but I'm scared to say that this is unplayable after having missed the mark like we did with Origin Form Palkia. Granted, that's a basic also, but still.
Yeah, and one thing to keep in mind too is that a lot of things that would not normally be good in the normal Pokemon TCG are actually pretty good. A lot of things like coin flips, the inconsistent damage is a lot of the time worth it because sometimes you just need the one heads to win you the game. Looking at Misty, looking at Form Palkia, looking at Celebi, so many coin flip decks have ended up being really good. It's really hard to count out the Tinkaton. I mean,
Yeah.
160, that's knocking out 90, almost 5% of all the Pokemon in the entire game.
Yeah.
So yeah, hard to count out. Again though, stage 2, less consistent. We'll see how it goes.
Yeah. Yeah. I couldn't say it better myself there. Hopefully it's playable. That'd be cool. I'd love to live in a world where we can just like terrifically thump people. Um, moving on, we have Goldengo. Now, we kind of went over Gimmighoul a little bit. It's like got its stall effect it can do, where it's just not affected by any attacks or any effects. We can highlight that one more time here, just so people can see. That's the Gimmighoul. Um, it's cool because it's a colorless attacker, and Goldengo cares about metal energy. It's stage 1, 120 HP to retreat. 3 energy. It's 50 damage. You flip a coin, sorry, for every metal energy attached to it, and then it's 50 damage for every heads you get. So just on base cost, you can get 3 heads, do 150 damage. Um, this is a interesting one. This is a stage 1 metal Celebi. That's kind of how I feel about it. It's also a single price point. This could be good. It works with Dialga. It gets accelerated by that. You can also just turn by turn just attach onto this. Um, I don't know exactly how to evaluate this card per se. What do you think, Rowan?
I think that again it's another coin flipper, and we already know how good Celebi is and has been in the past. It's not the meta right now, but it's always a viable deck just due to three coin flips and you're basically winning the game on turn one or two, depending on what you have, if you have superior or whatnot.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, coin flippy card could be really good. Stage one, not too many resources to get up. The three energies is a little rough, but you do have Dialga. That does help.
Mhm.
And his basic is a good staller, so it has a pretty decent setup if you need to just if you have nothing else and you are just relying on it's not bad. You can stall out for a couple turns if you get a couple heads. So flippy deck, if you like coin flips, this might be what you want.
Yeah, exactly. You know, if you've been fiending for more coin flips and you've been tired of Celebi, just too much grass, hey, maybe some gold dango is what you need in your life.
Might be the one.
Moving on into the colorless Pokemon now, we got Wigglytuff. This one's kind of cool. This one's kind of funny. 100 HP, 2 retreat cost, stage 1. Relevant things, but it's kind of whatever. You're never really wanting to have this be out in the active. This is definitely a bench sitter because its ability, once during your turn, you can heal 20 damage from your active Pokemon. This is kind of another thing like we were talking about with like the whole stall elements kind of slowing down the game a little bit. This can just be keeping your guy alive, making it so that your opponent cannot hit breakpoints the way that they want to. I could see this be like a tech 1-1 of like a 1-1 line in different decks where maybe that heal 20, it could be a type of deck or energy type of deck, like maybe a fire deck that doesn't have access to much healing, and maybe they want to try and heal that 20 to hit or to avoid breakpoints. Who knows? I think this card's playable. What do you think?
I definitely think it has potential. I think a card that we haven't touched on yet that we will mention soon is the B Barrel EX, where its attack is healing itself for 30,
Yeah,
plus the
we
Wiggly
might as well just
Tuff.
go to that one, honestly. Here it
Yeah,
is.
go to that one right now. We'll check it out because I foresee it having a little bit of potential. You could run things like Water Energy and Irida and potions. Could be a pretty stally deck. It might be our first super heal stall deck that we've seen. I know that Irida has helped water decks do kind of that, and Celebi's always had the Erica, but the B Barrel Wigglytuff combo is a guarantee every turn if you have the four energies on Big Dog. So we'll
Yeah,
see.
yeah, absolutely. Basically, before the video, we were theorizing on how B-Barrel could be playable, and what we kind of came up with was if you're playing with Manaphy and you're trying to accelerate onto this so you can get it obviously charged up sooner. And then since you're playing water energy, you can play things like Irida. This is healing itself as well. You play like the Giant Cape, and then it's a bit fatter at 180 HP. Maybe you play the Wigglytuff line and you're healing even more, and then maybe this is just a consistent 100 beater that's really difficult to actually remove, just making it really awkward for your opponent to even damage it.
Yep, exactly.
So this,
Definitely has potential.
yes, yes, this definitely has potential. As weird as it might seem, 4 energy does seem like a lot, and it's not like there's it's not the easiest to accelerate onto, but we have the technology. We can build it.
Yep.
We can make it
Manaphy allows it.
stronger. Uh, Moving on, the last big highlight notable cards, as we would hope from each new set, are the supporters. And thankfully, all of them are actually pretty cool. So we're gonna just go through them one by one, starting with Iono. Uh, Iono is interesting. It is similar to like if you've played the TCG, it's similar to things like N or Professor Oak's New Theory. If anyone remembers that card, you're an old head, and I respect you if you do. Um, where you're going to be shuffling your hand back in, and then instead of drawing a set amount, you're going to be drawing the same amount that you had put in. This is always going to be card disadvantage, and this is rarely ever going to be messing with your opponent's hand. You're not really playing this version of Iono in pocket here to disrupt your opponent's hand like you would in the TCG normally. Since your opponent's just going to be getting the exact same amount of card. If they had a 5 card hand, they're getting 5 cards back. It's kind of whatever. Um, And if they had a two card hand, well, even after they're still gonna have two cards, they're still in the same position basically. So you basically did nothing. This could be very playable though in a lot of deck, like as a one of, where early on maybe you're looking at a hand that's not very playable. You know, four cards, kind of whatever. You draw, you play Iono, you shuffle those four back in, draw a new four, try and get something going there. I could see that being decent. What's your take?
Yeah, it could be a good early game out if you start with a bad hand. Maybe Professor's Research turn one, you draw absolutely dead, but you have the Iona, you can reroll next turn. It also is good early game disruption for your opponent, possibly. Let's say you go second, they go first, they use a bunch of cards, they get a bunch of Pokemon, right? They Professor's Research, they do all this stuff. Well, you know they probably have something in their hand for their evolutions. If they're playing some, you can maybe reroll it away that next turn.
Hmm.
Possibly good early game disruption, possibly good early game save if you have a bad hand. So yeah, there's potential.
Yeah, I don't know if
Again,
this is going to
probably
be a
only a
two
one of.
of. Yeah, exactly.
Exactly. Yep.
But it is very playable. Could just become the one of staple for most decks. Who knows?
Yep.
Moving on, we got Pokemon Center Lady, and first off, she's just so cute. I love her hair and everything. Gosh. After that though, heal 30 damage from one of your Pokemon and then recover all special conditions. We already kind of mentioned that special conditions aren't super relevant, but if they do, this seems like a great card in answer to that. And then just in general, healing 30, this is and it doesn't care what type of Pokemon you're healing, it can just heal 30 from anything. This could be another option for kind of more stally decks or for like what we were talking about with like B Barrel and Irida and this, and just trying to make it so it's really frustrating for your opponent to, make any progress damage wise.
Yeah, this card is definitely a more niche card, seeing as it is a supporter, and there are plenty of other cards that heal in that you can choose from. But again, paired with B Barrel, if you're trying to be super stally, this adds even more options on top of Irida and potions and all the like. So yeah, this should be kind of neat. We'll have to see.
We'll have to
And
see.
also, there are quite a few Pokemon this time around that have a lot more special conditions that we could be seeing. So that could be a
True.
nice counter to those.
True. Like we said, it's not been super relevant, but it could become a lot more relevant as the set comes out and the metagame develops. So this
Yep.
is an exciting supporter nonetheless.
Yep.
After that, this is the card that we have been referencing when we say, hitting damage numbers and a certain card, jumping it up and everything. This could be the best card in the set. Uh, I have my money at least to this is definitely in the top three. I think this could be the best card in the set. New card. During this turn, attacks used by your Pokemon do 20 more damage to the opponent's active EX. Um, this just allows so many things to be able to hit damage numbers and be able to like hit break points that they couldn't before. I am excited with this. Obviously, it's not a general damage buff like Giovanni, but plus 20 is pretty damn big. Let's be honest. The plus 20 is why Lucario is very playable and why the Lucario fighting deck became one of the best decks in the format.
Yeah, this card has basically unlimited potential. Almost every single deck is based off of EXs. But this does mean that the anti EX decks, things like Lucario that's using a lot of basic Pokemon, and this also might just spawn anti EX decks in general. But the cool thing is, it doesn't matter if it's an EX or not using this. Red is just damage against the other EXs. So I could see this card being teched into almost every deck, realistically.
Yeah, yeah. Even if you're like just a single prize point, you just like play this as like a one of and everything. Because just in
100%.
case you go against like a Celebi or you go against a Darkrai or you go against Arceus or something like that, you just jump those numbers up, baby.
Yep.
Yeah, I think this card's great. Excellent addition. And then the last
Good
one,
card.
this is the other one that could be arguably the best card in the best new card in the set. Team Rocket Grunt. Flip a coin until you get tails. For each head, discard a random energy from your opponent's active Pokemon. So let's get the first thing out immediately out of the way. It's only the active. You can't, if your opponent Misty's 5 heads on their benched Magikarp, that sucks, man. You're gonna have to go next on that one because this ain't helping shit there. But for every other situation where, like, say you go first, your opponent has the energy advantage, but you have the evolution advantage. They attach, you then go take your second turn, evolve, use this and get a heads, and now in effect you have the energy advantage. I feel like this could be a very polarizing card. What's your take?
Yeah, this card honestly has so much potential. It's basically, as we have discussed previously, it's basically an anti Misty. We haven't
Mm-hmm.
had any super disruptive cards like this yet, and this is probably the most disruptive card that Pokemon Pocket has printed. This, along with all of the other stall cards in this set, I think has a lot of potential to spawn some really annoying decks that if you're not playing, you're not going to be have that much fun playing against them. So we'll see. We'll see how this goes, but this is my personal favorite card of the set. It just has so much fun potential to it.
Yeah. Yeah. I could also see this just becoming like a one of in most decks, just to see, like, hey, can I get the gotcha?
Exactly. Yep. Can just straight
Um
up win you a game, just like a Misty.
yeah, literally. Literally. And some ways kind of in a more toxic manner.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I mean, we think of like Crushing Hammer from the TCG and how playable that was. Obviously, that's just a single coin flip and it's a trainer, which is very good. But I'm still thinking of all the times where they hit the heads, and even if it was just a single heads, it was game winning.
Yep.
Um, yeah, and that's basically the set. These are just like the full arts and stuff like that. Just like highlight that and show those really quickly. If we're being completely honest, I guess the last thing we'll go over, actually, the real best card in the set and the one that everyone should want to pull, the Pokeball.
Yep.
Yeah,
Golden Pokeball. I mean, it's one of the best cards that they've printed so far. Will continue to be until they print other things that are better, I guess. But as of right now, this is going to be the most sought after card in the set, I would assume.
yeah, no, I have a feeling a lot of people's wallets are going to be hurting once this set drops. Mine
Yep.
could be feeling some pain too. Who knows, man? The one thing also to note, with even though it's kind of random, is this is actually, I think, a good sign. Up to this point, we've only seen the crown rares be things like the quote unquote chase card of that new set. So like the Charizard EX, Pikachu EX, Mewtwo EX, the Mew EX, the stuff like this. This shows that they understand that uh they can go into these super playable cards like Pokeball, these trainers that are ubiquitous, and make upgraded versions, because we've not gotten anything up to this point for Pokeball, for Professor's Research, for X Speed. And I am
Yep.
excited to try and pull myself a golden Pokeball, and in the future, maybe get like a full art or a golden Professor's Research and some X Speeds and potions and get some nice shit, man.
Yep. Was quite fun when they printed secret rares of Ultra Ball back in the OG days.
Oh
Love it they did
yes.
it in Pocket.
Yes. Oh god. We love when the secret really real chase card is a super playable card that's just going to go into pretty much every single deck that you build till the end of time.
Yep.
Um, yeah, that's basically the entire set. We were able to go and check out this set on PokemonZone.com here. The entire set was leaked early. It's coming out tomorrow. I'm assuming it's going to be tomorrow after the time change. So about 11 p.m. Pacific time, or If you're on the East Coast, it's gonna be what? That's like 2 a.m. is when they get the daily change, right? Some shit like that.
It's 10, 11, 12, 1 a.m.
1 a.m. Oh, wait. We also got the daylight savings because now the change is at 11, and so
I see, I see.
yeah, so 2 a.m. to tomorrow, or I guess the next day or whatever, however that works. The new set's coming out. I wish everyone the best of luck, especially if you watch this all the way through. You're a champion. Hope you get a god pack with 2 Pokeballs and whatever the fuck else that you're wanting. Personally, I hope I never pull this Wigglytuff because Jesus Christ, this thing is terrifying.
It is indeed very terrifying.
I have no idea what on God's good green earth they were thinking when they made the art for this, but holy shit, it's gonna stare into my soul every single pack. I already know it.
Yep.
But yeah, thanks guys. Much love, much appreciation. Have a lovely rest of the day. Good luck with your pulls. Peace out.